Okay, so in the last video we put up the route. I was gonna say routes, but route. And we installed some stuff and we put up the project and so we set up the project, I guess. We're gonna have a look at this file, the convert handler file. I think I said I didn't use that, but I actually did use this one. I didn't use the API file. Obviously I could have. It's not amazingly difficult to use this file instead, but I didn't see the point. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna have a look at these functions. So this is a sort of object-oriented programming instead of functional programming, which is mostly what we've used so far. And what we have here is essentially a convert handler, which acts as a... The thing is, this isn't really object-oriented programming because this is not class, but it acts as a class in a sense, I guess. The point is that, at least, that we're going to have this function, and inside of this function we have other functions. So this acts as a main function, and this function has children, and these children are different functions inside of it. So if we call a get num, we should get the number of this input here. So essentially when we made these checks here, we're checking for a number, and that's essentially what we're going to do in this function as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to write a const split by regex, and that's going to be an input.split, and we're splitting that by A to C, like so. And then we will return split by regex, and we're actually splitting this by letters, numbers, as I said in the last video, and the first of those should be a number, hopefully. And we're actually checking that in here, so we can be pretty sure that it is number, because if you send in something in this input field, you can see that it should be 3.1 miles or 4.7 kilograms and so on. So the first one is going to be a number, and that means that when we return here, we're going to have to return the first one in the array that's created by this split function. We're going to get an array there with two instances, really. We're going to have a number, we're going to have a string, an input, yeah. So what we're checking here is that this one is not empty, because we don't want it to be empty. This should be something, because if it's empty, then we haven't written anything. We could theoretically press convert on this one, and right now this field is empty. If I press convert here, nothing should happen, and it doesn't actually happen. Anyway, it's not important why it doesn't happen, but it shouldn't be, because if this is empty we can't return a number, obviously, so this should not be empty. So we're checking that, and then we're going to use an eval function. We can safely do that here because we have controlled the input, basically. So we're going to have an eval split by regex 0. So we're going to use the first part of the array, and then we're going to do a toFixed 5, and toFixed is a math function, I think, except it's not math. Yeah, well, it's a function anyway, and what it does is that it reduces the amount of numbers you have in after this eval function to maximum 5. You can't get more, and the reason we want to do that is, for instance, this one. This could be a lot of numbers. It may not evenly, if you take pi for instance, pi is infinite as far as I know, and we don't want that. We don't want millions of numbers, we want a maximum of 5. So we're shortening that. And if this one is empty, then we're returning 1. And why are we doing that? Well, it says so in our user stories, actually, in this one. If nothing is provided, it will default to 1. So I should be able to write something like lbs here. And if I just write lbs, I should get the amount of kilograms 1 lbs is equal to converted, which should be like 2.2 or something, I guess. 0.4, I don't try it. Oh, never mind. Anyway, we have some more functions. This is our number function. That's done there. We're going to have a unit function as well. So we're going to have to do one of these. Actually, I'm just going to copy that because I'm going to write it a lot of times. So we're going to split this. Input dot split by d, and then we're gonna return split by regex, and instead of the first one we're gonna have the last one, like so. And we don't actually have to do any sort of check here. This is always going to be the input. Even if we put nothing inside this input field, so if we just put lbs here and not 1 lbs, the array is just going to be one in length, and then this is just going to be the right one anyway. So that's actually done there. We don't need to do anything more there. So we're going to go on to this get return unit. And get return unit obviously means that we have a unit we send in, and that one has a corresponding unit in Imperial or Metric. So we're going to have to get the responding unit, and to do that we're essentially going to have to tell the computer what that is, because it doesn't know. But we're not going to do that straight away. So in here we just want to do a const, I think I say that, yeah. So we're going to split this one, the initial unit, split, and we're going to split it by the letter, like so. And then we're going to return split by regex 0. And in spell out unit, we're going to have a regex again. We're going to split this. We're going to split it by the number. And we're going to return split by regex. And the last one. Length, like so. And here's where it gets, I was going to say tricky, but that's not the case. It's not tricky, it's more verbose, I guess is the right word. So what we're going to do is we have these, and this is not difficult to find out, you just have to Google that, but FreeCodeCamp actually provides these for us. What's kind of interesting here is that it says const here, but it says var here. So someone has obviously gone in and changed these later on while leaving vars, which is a bit strange. It's not that you can't use var, it's that you don't want to. Anyway, I'm going to remove that because in here I want to switch. And what I want to switch is the initial unit. And there I want to say that if the case is miles, then I want to do something. And if the case is gallons, I want to do something else, and so on. So here I'm going to return the init number times So in here, we're going to have to return the initial number times something. And here we're going to have a quick think, really, because this one has to be connected to one of these. So if we have miles, we obviously will have the initial number times miles to kilometers. And then we actually want to use this to fixed as well. And this one should be 5. And then we just add in that one. And we could use template strings here. I chose not to. Don't really know why. It just happened to be like that. But we could obviously do that. And we're going to have to do the same way for all of these. So the initial number times something. So it's going to be gal 2 liters. And due to fixed 5 plus. And we're going to have liters. And then we're going to have another case. And we're going to have a case of pounds. I'm just going to prepare this, I think. So we're going to have pounds, we're going to have kilograms, we are going to have liters, and we're going to have kilometers. Like so. Then we can just fill in these. So here we're going to return the initial number times pounds to kilograms to fixed 5 and plus kg. And when we get to these, we essentially do the opposite. So we return the initial number, but instead of multiplying it, we're dividing it. So the initial number of kilograms through LBS to kilograms dot to fixed 5. Oops. Where am I? Plus pounds. And here we're gonna return the initial number divided by, let's see, liters, gallons, 2 liters, 2 fixed, 5 plus gal. And we're gonna do the last one, that's gonna be initial number divided by miles to kilometers, not 2 fixed, 5 plus let's see, it's miles here. So this one is essentially handling the unit conversion all the way through. And after doing this, we should be able to get into this one, which is what we're actually returning to the user. Technically, we're returning all of these, but this is the one that's important that we're returning. So in here, we're going to have a let full init unit, and I'm using let here because I'm actually going to convert these. We cannot do that with the const, obviously. So that's going to be an empty string. We're going to have a let full return unit. And these ones are, this is for the text return. So I'm actually just preparing this to make it a little bit easier. So in here, we're going to have a switch again. I don't actually use switches that often, but it was fitting here. So we're going to switch to int unit. And here we're going to have a case of kilometers. And if we have kilometers, then we want to have a full initial unit. That's going to be kilometers, obviously. And if that's kilometers as that one, then we want to have the full return unit as miles. And break. And if we have and I should stop here, we have a break here because we don't have a return. So if you have a return, you don't need a break. If you don't have a return, you want a break. That's how switch works. So we have liters. And if we have liters, you want to have a full init unit. I'm actually just going to do this, so it goes a bit faster, because we're going to have 6 different cases, obviously. I'm going to remove that for now, and just copy these a bit. So let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, and we're on liters there. So we should say liters, and if we have liters, return gallons. If we have kilograms, then it's kilograms there, and it's going to be pounds there. And if we have miles, then it says miles there, and kilometers there. If we have gallons, should say gallons there, and liters there, and it should say pounds there because that's the one we have left, and that's going to be pounds and kilograms. So then that's done as well, and you can see that we send in a lot of stuff here. It's a bit unnecessary, really, but we do that. And we're only using the initial unit. But we are actually going to use more of them, and that's because this is not really doing anything. We're not returning anything here. So under the switch statement, we're going to have a return. And there I'm actually going to use a template string. So we're doing that. We're having the initial number, and we're having the initial unit. No, the full initial unit. And that one converts to, because we want to have the same as we have here, so converts to, and some number and a unit. So it converts to return num and return full unit. So there are obviously different ways to solve this. The reason we're not using this, for instance, is because I have this one instead. So I could remove this, but it's prepared by FreeCodeCamp, so I'm leaving it. This slide should return something similar to this, hopefully. And at this point, we should be able to try that, because unless we made a mistake, which is very much possible, this should actually work now. So I'm actually going to restart the Node application. And with this we can make manual tests. We can see if this works properly. So if we go here, we just that's a minor mistake. Helmet is obviously a function. So let's restart again. Let's see. So, and let's try just writing km there. It's an invalid unit. That's not good. kg. Something's not right here, obviously. Let's try something like 10L. You can also have a look up here and do something like this, just to see if our code is wrong, or if, or rather where our code is wrong, because it's obviously wrong. So we have an input for gal there. Right, nothing happens. That's not good. We have a console here. Let's see, we're doing that, we're doing this. 3.1 miles. Right, time to debug this. Right, I would like to say it was a minor mistake, but it wasn't. It was several minor mistakes. So, for starters, I have somehow managed to write split by regex and start an array here and do the same thing twice. So this is not working at all, which is why we're getting the invalid unit no matter what we write. So we're gonna remove that and that one, like so, and then that's fine. It's also, I actually thought they did that for, they're actually FreeCodeCamp that is, are actually importing the API file, but they're not doing that for the convert handler. So this one is not actually being used right now, so we have to do that. And what we have to do then is something like this. So a const convert handler is require, and require is how you do things in nodes. And so we could actually just look at this one and do the same way. So instead of route, we do ./controllers/convert handler. However, we're gonna have to create an instance of this convert handler. So we're gonna have to do another one here, where we do convert handler is equal to new convert handler, like so. And then we can actually use this one the way we've done down here. Let's see. I think I had one more thing. It may have been here. Yeah, right, I had a typo here. Down here, I have written return full unit. Right now it's return full uneven. That's not right. But it should be, obviously, this one. So full return unit, like so. And if we start to know that now, and go here, reboot, we can write like LBS, for instance. And then we get a £1 converts to, it should probably be pound, but not pounds, but anyway, it converts to 0.45359 kilograms. We could also write something like, there, let's go for 120 kilograms. Converts to 264 pounds. This one is not really necessary though. We could get around this, obviously, by using math.floor, I think. But it doesn't really matter. I don't care about it. It's nicer if you do that, obviously, but we don't actually have to do that for this app to work, and it's no one's going to use this anyway. But if we wanted to make this properly, we would use the method floor on this conversion, so we don't get more than these 5 zeros are obviously completely unnecessary, while these 5 numbers are necessary. We could actually try something else, like we could try an invalid one. So we go for a 3.459, that's valid, through 5. What do we want? Miles, I guess. That works. But if we do /2, we have an invalid number. So since it's a computer, it's actually making this calculation. This is completely correct. You can do this. But you cannot do that twice. Quite obviously. So right now, we actually know that our app works, sort of. It's not future-proof though. So we still have some things left. We haven't written a single test yet. So we're gonna have to do that as well. And we're gonna do that in the next video. Or the next part, I should say.